Well, good evening, and welcome to another episode of The Land of Saints and
Sinners.
You didn't sing it this time, did you?
I didn't sing it because I always sing it.
You always sing it, don't you? Yeah. Well, what have you been up to today? Anything exciting? Anything good? It's been a crazy, mad, crazy day today.
One of those days, I have to tell you, it has been slightly bedlam.
Do you know when someone says to you, I've had one of those days? I mean, do you ever ask them, what kind of day have you had then? And then you stand there thinking, I wish I'd never asked now. Do you get those moments where you think, well, I should have shut my mouth, I shouldn't have said anything? 2 hours later, you know, get people, I'm going to cut the long story short. When they say that, you know it's going to be a long-ass story, right? Am I right? It really is.
Absolutely.
So then, Rogue, what's been happening? I'm okay. I've been good, actually. I've lost this bit of weight. I've cut down on the sugar, although I got this tonight. It's not advertising.
That's caffeine and sugar.
Yeah, I needed it. I was really thirsty, and secretly, I sneaked these into the studio as well, so some Maltesers. But that's for later. I indulge. But yeah, I've been good. I've been really well, actually. Been busy with Advanced UK Wales, as you know, because obviously you are the deputy here, and like Angela Rayner was to Keir Starmer. I mean,
Richie,
how's
it
going great, love, going great. Birmingham now. We've got a great show lined up tonight. I'm excited. We got 2 guests on tonight. We've got the wonderful Richard Inman, and we have
the lovely Moya Hughes. She's amazing, and she is an ex-midwife, and the reason why is because she's retired. Is that who you meant?
Yeah, of course. Well,
I'm just double checking.
I haven't messaged anybody else to come on the show tonight.
I said a second ago, should we come with them? Should we have so and I'm like, good grief, I don't know what you're dropping me into.
Lastminute.com. First of all, let me say a huge welcome to all of our followers, our subscribers here on Saints and Sinners.
Hello.
We are so grateful and thankful for you, because without you, then we'd be talking to ourselves, which I do most of the time.
Yeah, you do.
So we just want to thank you. And don't forget, you can support what we're doing here on Saints and Sinners by scanning the QR code up in one of those 2 corners, because I've got a clue when it comes to the camera and the mirror. And you can leave a small gift, £1, £2, £3. She needs her hair doing. Fantastic. So without any further ado...
Hot kettle black, sunshine.
I know. Steve Coogan.
Wow.
I know. I definitely need a haircut and a shave. I know. I keep getting told I'm going for the Jesus look. You know, remember the Jesus hippie movement? You know. And look, I mean, wearing a cardigan, I feel like I'm 50,
look, you're past 50, so now it is cardigan and sandal and sock time.
I am literally embracing my kind of age now. I'm come to terms with the fact that I'm not old, I'm just getting older.
This is true.
You know, and I've accepted it, and I'm growing old graciously, hopefully, anyway. My skin looks fantastic. It's because we got a skin enhancer on the camera. That's why it looks great. It is fantastic. Can't see nothing. It's great. So yeah, thank you for joining us, to our subscribers here as well. We're on Substack, also on X at Land Sinners and at RW
Stop
Taylor.
Banging the table.
Yeah, I
told
you
hear that. He tells me off and says, "Don't bang the table," and then he's doing exactly the same.
Yeah, sorry, love. I didn't.
Thank you.
That. There
Enough.
We go. So you can follow, share, and subscribe the broadcast tonight as people are jumping on. We'd love you to do that, and of course, your comments and questions are very important to us right here on Saints and Sinners. So we're going to come to a few of the comments and people saying hi, Ro, before we get into the meat of it. Good evening, all. Good evening.
Good evening.
Nikki's on.
Hi, Nikki. Great to see you on. Good evening, C-Lad. And bonjour. We've got somebody French.
Bonjour, ça va, ça va. Très bien, très bien. My French is not very good.
Isn't it?
Have you noticed?
Yeah. No, it's English.
It's Vol-au-Vent's French. Vol-au-Vent's French.
Yes.
They are, right? Okay.
Vol-au-vent.
Just don't mention the war. Anyway, no, don't mention that at all, actually, after last week's show. Anyway.
No.
DM me in. There's our good old friend, Paul Morris. Paul, thank you for broadcasting about us on your show, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, so Paul has been actually showing us on his show. He's actually doing recaps of everything that we're doing. And I think it's brilliant. So thank you so much for watching and actually helping spread that message.
Paul said he likes the Val Dominican look. Is that right?
I can't read. I haven't got my glasses on.
Hello, you beautiful.
Hi.
Croc's Nest. Yeah, I got that. Is that what those are called there? Are they Croc's Nest? I can't remember. Hi, Richie and Rogue. Good evening. Good evening.
Hello.
Welcome. Crocs and white sports socks. No. I won't be seen dead in those. How dare you insult me with such words? Crocs? No.
They're just awful. No. And anybody that wears them, I disown them. Yeah. I just can't. I can't bring myself to actually.
Yeah, we can have the revival without the.
I think our guest.
All right, okay, we're going to bring him on. Let's bring him on. Is it? Come on.
Come on.
Let's welcome Richard Inman.
Richard.
Confession, I do wear Crocs, but I've got a reason for wearing Crocs, because I swim in the sea, not as often as I used to, but once a week I get in the sea and it's freezing, so I put my Crocs on to get in the sea. That's all it is. I don't wear them around the house.
Is it an
Just for
upgrade
swimming.
from? Do you remember the jelly shoes? Do you remember those awful jelly shoes that you had to have the strap across? Is Crocs like our Crocs like the upgrade?
I haven't had shoes with straps across them since I was 4.
Yeah,
Listen, my mum used to put me in those jelly shoes to stop me getting stung by jellyfish. They were awful, to be fair. So Crocs probably a bit of an upgrade.
Richard, now I know that you wear Crocs. This ends our friendship altogether.
Just when I'm swimming. But come on. Richie,
Okay, we'll let you off for that.
You are wearing a cardigan. And you've been called Valdoonican. You've been called Valdoonican and you're wearing a cardigan.
This is true.
On,
Yeah.
You can't do this.
I know. Listen, do you know why though? Because it's bloody freezing, man. I mean, it is so cold. Like, I mean, I don't know if else is feeling it. It's been warmer today. When I came in the studio outside earlier, we went outside to grab some snacks, hence the Maltesers, and it was quite mild, wasn't it?
Compared to yesterday. It was
Yeah.
-3 last night.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a frost.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Everything was completely frozen this morning. You can hear everybody like scraping in the morning, and it's like, oh my gosh.
So let's just get into the meat. We've got a massive show lined up tonight. Lots to talk about, lots to discuss, lots of comments to get through as well, Richard. I hope you don't mind taking a few questions tonight.
Let's
so,
do it.
folks,
Yep.
please, would you send your questions in? Richard, before we get started, we want to ask him a few questions to me.
I just want to know, who are you and what makes you tick?
Oh man, have you got three days? I mean, how long do you want? I'm just to answer that question with the full screen. Who am I? I'm Richard. I've been doing all this crazy stuff with politics and activism for quite a long time. I think I started thinking about all this in 1984, which is a little bit scary. And it wasn't because of George Orwell. It was just because of things were happening where I lived. So 2017, I went public and started doing speeches and standing on platforms and associating with our friend Tommy, and that just wrecked my life. It's as simple as that, and it's been downhill from there. So that's pretty much me. Those guys have disappeared totally. I think they've just left me to do the show.
Fantastic, Richard. Yeah, and we had the privilege of.
For a minute there, I thought I was just going to. You guys have disappeared.
Oh yeah, right.
And I thought, this is one of those pranks where they're just going to leave me to do the show on my own for the next 2 hours.
See you later. Ciao.
Anyway, right, guys. So Rogue and Richie aren't going to do the show anymore. I'm taking over. Oh, you're back. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got a bit of a delay. I don't know what's going on tonight. The gods are not with us tonight, the internet gods for some reason, but you keep stopping on there. But on the live feed, you look fine, Richard. You look handsome as ever. And of course, we're on X as well.
Glow, actually. It's quite beautiful.
It's the lighting. Look.
It's the lighting. I
was
actually setting you up to give you a massive compliment.
I'm not meant to cheat. No, I look like Santa Claus. I've got rosy cheeks and a white beard.
Well, talking about white beards, we're not going to see a white beard in this clip. Richard, we want to begin the show tonight. I don't know if you saw a tweet that went out. I think it was by the veteran Paz. You know him, Paz 49.
Yes,
he put this out.
Paz 49.
MP, Pauline Hanson tries to get the burqa banned. They laugh at her and throw her bill away. She turns up in Parliament wearing a burqa and she's thrown out and suspended by Parliament. What exactly has she done wrong apart from offending the permanently offended? I mean, absolutely ridiculous. In fact, we've got a clip we're going to show in a moment. I mean, it's just the whole thing. It made me laugh out loud. And you were like, oh, you took it serious. I was like, no, it's funny. So she wanted a bill passed where the burqa is banned, right, in Australia, which I think is a great idea. It's just my opinion. And they said, no, they threw the bill out. So what did she do? She dressed in a burqa. And here's the irony. They kicked her out for wearing the burqa.
It just doesn't make sense. So have we got the video?
Yeah, I've got the video. Let's watch it.
Has been booted from the Senate for 7 days. Punishment for wearing a burqa in the chamber. Let's go live this afternoon to political reporter Tim Lester in Canberra. Tim, this was a rare decision made against the senator.
Yes, Hugh. The Senate here dishing out a penalty that it appears not to have used for almost half a century.
There is no dress code on the floor of Parliament, yet I'm not allowed to wear it.
This is the Queensland Senator's appearance yesterday, repeating her 2017 burqa appearance in the chamber.
It has been imposed on women that are forced to wear it by their male, whether husbands, brothers, fathers.
Well, I don't know what happened there, Richard. We seem to have lost her. But that was the moment she was ceremoniously kicked out of the Australian Parliament. I mean, did you see that video?
I saw it, and I mean, they just don't have a sense of humour. And I'm not talking about Muslims. I'm talking about the communists, the Islamists, the lefties. None of them have a sense of humour. You know, and they don't know when stuff's banter. And I mean, I was talking about it on my show this morning, and I was talking about Farage, when Farage said whatever he said 40 odd years ago, which, you know, I think we discussed it yesterday with Paul, didn't we? And I watched that video this morning, and Farage is nearly in tears in front of the mainstream media. Do you know, we've got to get to the stage where we just don't care what they think, or what they say about us, because we're not going to win that one. So we've just got to say, yeah, we did whatever we did, or we didn't do whatever we did. We either stand by it or we don't stand by it, and that's it. And she was getting abuse from a Muslim lady in the Parliament. She was getting abuse from the lefty virtue signalers. And I think, to be honest with you, the Islamists do what they do because they want to take over. Now, why the left are pandering to them, and, you know, conservatives on our side in some ways would have more in common with some Muslims than the liberals do. So the liberals are, Gadsad calls it suicidal empathy. That's what they're doing. They're indulging in suicidal empathy because they're the first ones that are getting shot. They're the first ones getting thrown off the buildings. We might dodge the bullet for a little while. So I don't understand this red-green alliance, and I think the red ones are the ones with absolute. They're just the useful idiots, and they're being used by the Islamists to push their agenda. And they're not going to win. They can't win.
Well, talking about Islamists, because we were talking before we come on air tonight, we wanted to discuss with you about the Muslim Brotherhood. For those of you who don't know, this is an organization that's here in Wales as well. And in the United States, the wonderful, the funny, and he is funny, Donald Trump. I mean, I got to show our viewers this clip. Donald Trump was about to give a speech, and look what he says when this happened to elect him. Just check this out a second.
Struggling, you know, this is the worst platform. Who put this stage up here? This is the worst. The frickin' place is falling down. I notice it keeps tilting further left. Like too many other things. What a crappy contractor this was.
Oh,
Brilliant.
man, that's
You gotta love him. You gotta love him.
Isn't he amazing? He just does it as it is, and there are no airs or graces. He just does not give a shite, does he?
No, he doesn't. He really doesn't.
We've all got to be in that space because they're coming for you anyway. So you've got to have that. We don't care. We don't care what they say.
Yeah.
We don't care what they
on that, Richard, we obviously, this is following on from a conversation we had briefly last night about Trump's decision to designate the Muslim Brotherhood as a terror organization. Now, he's obviously going for those extreme and those who are involved with the Islamification of the United States of America, because like us in this country, people like us, we're concerned about it because the way that it's impacting society as a whole and changing society. I mean, you've done some work on this and research into this, Richard. Do you want to share with our viewers a little bit your thoughts around the Muslim Brotherhood here in the UK?
No, I mean, let's go back from personal experience. You were kind of asking me about my story. In 1982, so I'm in secondary school, and I'm not that old. You know, I'm really not that old. But I'm in secondary school in 1982, and the kids in my class, Pakistani kids, I got well with them, and they're saying to me, "Oh, Uncle Abdul's away fighting." I'm going, "Who's he fighting?" "Oh, he's fighting the Russians." And or my cousin Mohammed, he's up in Afghanistan fighting the Russians. And I go, what are they doing fighting the Russians? You know, what have the Russians done to your cousins? "Oh, it's just what we do. If anybody attacks the Muslims, we all gather together and we fight back." So that was in 1982. And then what I realized as time went on, as great as it was for all of us anti-communists that the Mujahideen were getting stuck into the Russians, and the SAS were training them and all that sort of good stuff, but there was an agenda, and the agenda wasn't just about fighting the Russians. the agenda is global domination, and that's what this is about. The agenda of the Muslim Brotherhood is a global caliphate, and that was, you know, al-Banna, the guy that set up the Brotherhood in 1928. That was his goal. That was his aim. He'd seen the caliphate being destroyed by Western hegemony. He'd seen the caliphate get pushed back by Western power. Obviously, in the First World War, the Brits well and truly kicked the Turkish caliphate out of Israel, or Palestine as they called it then, and pushed them right back, and the caliphate basically collapsed in 1924. So in 1928, the Muslim Brotherhood was established, and it grew in Egypt. It was established in Egypt and grew up in Egypt. It was a secret society, so nobody knows exactly who's actually in the Muslim Brotherhood. And as time went on, they started realizing that they had to use physical force, they had to use violence to achieve their ends, because they weren't going to do it by any other means. And I think in about 1950s, 1960s, a man called Sayyid Qutb wrote a book that became very, very famous amongst jihadis. So the Muslim Brotherhood is obviously a secret society that promotes Islamism and promotes a globalist Islamist agenda. But what's happened is all of the terrorist organizations like Al-Qaeda, ISIS, all of them can claim their heritage from either the Muslim Brotherhood or Jamaat-e-Islami, which is almost a Pakistani clone of the Muslim Brotherhood, and that was started by a man called Maududi. Again, I believe somewhere around the 1940s, 1950s. Again, if the timings here are slightly out and anybody wants to fact check me on that, but that's the general thrust. So the Muslim Brotherhood isn't actually a terrorist organization. It's an ideological organization that is infiltrating every single strata of society in the countries it's in. So in a way, talking about terrorism and the Muslim Brotherhood is underestimating what the Muslim Brotherhood's about, because it's not about encouraging terrorism. It's about gradually taking over the institutions of power. And you saw they did it in Egypt with the Arab Spring, where they actually gained for a very short period of time before al-Sisi booted them out of power and put I think it was Morsi, wasn't it? Put Morsi in prison. So the Brotherhood has been active in the West, and it's certainly in the UK, since the 1980s at least. The Muslim Council of Britain was set up by Brotherhood members. The Muslim Association of Britain had very close associations with the Muslim Brotherhood. So it's well and truly established in the UK. And the problem is as well, even if people are in the Muslim Brotherhood, how are you going to know? Because they're a secret society. So what you've got to look at is what they say and what they do. So if what they say and what they do is in line with the goals and the agenda of Islamists and of the Muslim Brotherhood, that's the only way that you can find out if they're operative. So, for example, if they're talking about Islamophobia all the time, well, you can pretty much say it's nailed on that they have some sort of association with the Muslim Brotherhood, because that is one of the Muslim Brotherhood's weapons that they use to silence any criticism of Islam. If they're talking about passing laws that make it very, very easy for Islamist ideologies to be put onto the statute book, that's what the Muslim Brotherhood are about. So they've infiltrated, obviously, the Green Party, they've infiltrated the Labour Party, they've infiltrated probably the Conservative Party, certainly the Lib Dems. So all the major parties have already been infiltrated by Islamist groups. So the UK is in real trouble, real trouble. And I think the Americans might have an easier time dealing with this than we do.
Go on.
So no, I'm just. Yeah, there's a little bit of delay, and you keep on freezing for us. Okay. So I'm just trying to figure out if you can see us.
What's going on? We've got a technical issue.
Can you see us?
Yeah. I can see you guys. Yeah.
Viewers in the comments, let us know if you can hear and see us. Okay, we're having problems with Richard's picture.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, okay.
So I was wondering, as I was kind of researching them earlier and trying to figure out exactly sort of where this has come from, you know, they talked about having this movement, and it was a revival of the Islamic faith to kind of spread. Is this another like Masons? Is it like a Masonic kind of pledge? Are they kind of that ilk that are kind of like spreading around, but they're doing the dark secrets behind the scenes?
Well, I think the most. I mean, I think the Masons are very sinister. You know, from the get-go, I'm no fan of the Masons, but I think they're probably more sinister than the Masons, because obviously they have a goal, and their goal, the Masons. I mean, what do the Masons really? What's the Masons' goal? I suppose it's to get everybody worshipping Satan. You know, but the Islamists or the Muslim Brotherhood, what they want to do is infiltrate every strata of society, so that it's entryism. They want to get into political parties, they want to get into government, they want to be working in the Home Office, they want to be working in banking, they want to be working in all these different institutions. Somebody's put up about the Fabian Society. It's very, very, what the Muslim Brotherhood are doing is very similar to what the Fabian Society have done as well. So they're kind of very similar in their way of operating, but obviously they have different agendas, whereas the Fabians want an international communist society. The Muslim Brotherhood are looking for a caliphate. They want to re-establish the caliphate. Al-Banna, when he founded the Muslim Brotherhood, he did it because he was so disgusted with the prosperity of the Westerners compared to the poverty of the Muslim people that he saw around him. So he was saying, we can't have this. We can't have these Western infidels basically taking over our lands. We're going to fight back, get our lands back. But the ultimate goal is that the whole world becomes one caliphate. That's what their goal is. The other thing is Hamas. Hamas is obviously a terrorist organization, and Hamas is the Muslim Brotherhood in Palestine, as they call it, or as we call it in Israel. So it's massively problematic. I think that any Islamist group should be looked at as if they're trying to commit treason, because that's what they're trying to do. Because if they're trying to overthrow Christian civilization, it is treasonous. That, you know, that's the whole point of this.
Is Keir part of the Brotherhood?
He's a Fabian.
Do you reckon he is?
He's a Fabian. He's in the Fabian Society. So
I know, but it's almost like they all integrate, isn't it? There's this weird integration.
It's the red. The problem is the Red-Green Alliance. It's the Red-Green Alliance. That's the problem that we've got. So they're basically they're both using the organs of power to get their, you know, to fulfill what they want. With Keir, it's an international communist agenda, right? So he's an internationalist and a communist. With the Islamists, they obviously want a caliphate. And I mean, we've got 5 MPs there that we know are Islamists. You know, the Gaza 5. We know for a fact. I'm not saying they're in the Brotherhood. The other thing is, you don't have to be in the Muslim Brotherhood to be an Islamist. You could be an Islamist and never be in the Muslim Brotherhood. You could be in a different Islamist organization. So just looking at the Muslim Brotherhood is probably the wrong way to do it, because any fundamentalist Muslim, as a Christian would, every Christian should want everybody in the world to be a Christian, right? Now, with the Islamists, what they want is the whole world to be dominated by the caliphate. They don't want us all to convert necessarily, but they want us all to be subjugated by it. So it's different to Christianity, because obviously in Christianity, it's a change of the heart and the spirit of a human being that we're looking for. Whereas what they're looking for is Islamic global governance. So not only you've got the Muslim Brotherhood and the jihadists, sitting over the top of the Brotherhood and the jihadists is the OIC, the organization, I think it's called, of Islamic Conference. It used to be called Congress, but they've got this equivalent of the United Nations, which is just for Muslim countries, and that kind of sits above the Islamists. So you've got the OIC, you've got the Islamists, which are Muslim Brotherhood, Jamaati Islami, all the different jihadi groups, and that's kind of how the pieces of the jigsaw fit together. And then in terms of Islam itself, you've got the Salafists, who are obviously extreme Muslims. You've got the Deobandi. And just to give you an idea of the scale of the problem, just looking at the Deobandi and the Salafists, which are very fundamentalist groups, okay, 42% of the mosques in the UK are Deobandi, which is the Deobandi are basically the religious sect that sent the Taliban across the borders from Pakistan that had been, radicalized in the Deobandi madrasas. So the madrasas up in the northwest frontier that sent all those young lads across to die in Afghanistan, they were Deobandi. 42% of the mosques in the UK are Deobandi. 10% of the mosques are Salafi, and then about another 3% are extremist mosques of different sort of shades. So just looking at the Muslim Brotherhood is not getting how bad the picture really is. The picture is actually a lot worse than just looking at the Muslim Brotherhood. And in fact, Tommy did an interview with
Richard. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, Richard, can I just jump in? I don't know if you can hear us. There's a delay on the line. Just very quickly for our viewers to know, can you explain in layman's terms what the caliphate means? What does that actually mean in Islamic language, caliphate?
Okay, it means global Islamic governance. So you will have a caliph, whether it's Erdogan or whether it's someone from Saudi Arabia or whether it's someone from Afghanistan, you'll have a caliph who is the rightful leader of Islam. So that will be probably the most powerful man in Islam who'll end up the caliph. And the caliphate is global Islamic governance. So in other words, the caliphate, everybody in the caliphate would be ruled by Sharia law. That's what ISIS tried to set up in Syria and Iraq and all the other countries that they ruined in 2014, 2015. That's what's happening with Boko Haram in Nigeria. When they take land, that land they control is then ruled by Sharia law. So what you would have is that sort of Islamic rule right the way across the globe. So in other words, the caliphate would be Islamic rule in every part of the globe. So Sharia law from New York to Tokyo.
Wow. So, well, that's quite frightening. And we know a little bit about ourselves, of course, and we've seen it change society so much. And it's just one of those things that I know Advance UK, certainly, we believe in being a Christian country and reviving our Christian constitution. And I think this can be seen as a direct threat upon our history, Richard, can it, and our culture?
Oh, without a doubt. And I mean, this has been a long time in the making. I mean, when I came to Belfast in 1987 as a soldier, we saw the divided communities. We saw obviously the terrorism of the IRA. We looked back across the water to England and we said, do you know what? In 20 years' time, there's going to be bombs on the streets of the UK from Islamic radicals, because we saw it growing up as kids. We could see that the lack of integration, the extremism that was growing. If you remember what happened with Salman Rushdie in the late 1980s, so that's been growing for a very long time. We were actually wrong when we said 20 years. It was 18 years because the first suicide bombings on the streets of London happened in 2005, as we know. So so I think we're underestimating the threat to the UK massively, and it's a question of what we do about it, because obviously we want to do whatever we do peacefully, but and that's why I'm so passionate about getting Advanced UK into power, because I think Ben has a unique insight into this. Because if you listen to Ben's story, one of the reasons that Ben's family got him out of Pakistan is because they saw what was happening in Pakistan in the early 1980s. And funnily enough, I was seeing what was happening in Middlesbrough in the mid 1980s. And as crazy as it sounds, we could see that the problem was starting in 1984, 1985 with Muslim communities in the northeast of England, in Bradford, in the northwest, all the places where the guys that I was in the army with, we all saw what was happening, and we knew that there was going to be a problem very similar to what was happening in Northern Ireland, except in the mainland. And I think it's a real problem, and nobody's really talking about it. Nobody's talking about it.
Yeah, it's one of those things, Richard, isn't it? There's a delay on the. We've got a massive delay tonight, guys, so bear with us, right? We're working through. We can hear you, Richard. I'm sure our viewers can as well, but we're managing to get through. Yeah, it's one of those things that we've seen town cities change, Rogue, haven't we, so much?
Yeah, I mean, like even back when I was 17, I've said this story before, but when I was 17 and I was in college, there was a guy that came over to me with a knife, and he literally held it to my side and basically told me that I had to have sex with him. And I was like frozen and absolutely petrified because, let's face it, you know, I have this Muslim guy that is literally being really forceful, and he did not care how I felt whatsoever. There was no respect. It was like, this is what he needed and this is what he was going to get. And it took for a Sikh to see it, and basically the Sikhs within the college went completely wild, and they started having a major war, like in-house. It was literally the throwing bins, they were throwing cartons, food, everything, you know, anybody, and it just became a war zone. And quite frankly, it was so frightening, and it just to watch like the level of anger and hatred between them anyway, and just the disrespect, you know, that they had. I just know from what I've seen in the newspapers recently, the progression, like you said, the 18 years, the progression is real. And with the borders open, we are now just plummeting into complete disaster.
Absolutely.
I totally agree on that. And in fact, Rogue, I had a similar situation in my secondary school when I was sort of 15, 16. We had exactly the same situation between the Pakistanis and everybody else in the school. So there was there was West Indian guys on our side, there was Indian guys on our side, and the Pakistanis, again, they had kind of a mini uprising, and we were literally brawling with these guys for weeks in our school, to the extent that we had what they used to call the Special Patrol Group. I don't know if anyone's old enough to remember the Special Patrol Group, but it was basically riot cops. Riot cops were patrolling our school in 1984 in Middlesbrough. It's on the BBC News, the local news and everything. I mean, it's crazy. And it was exactly the same situation. So that's a microcosm. So what I've known about, as you will have done, Rogue, we've known about this for a long time, and we've known there's a problem. So if we know about it, how come the state doesn't know about it? And my big worry is this, that the state does know about it, but the state is too frightened to do anything about it. And they're going, do you know what? By the time it happens, we'll all be dead anyway. Well, that's not good enough, because my grandkids and my great-grandkids won't be dead. So we've got to fight this now. I'm not talking about physically fighting it. We've got to find a solution to this problem now. And that's why I think, and that's why I'm so passionate about Advance. My main issue, the main thing that I see as a threat to the UK, very much like Tommy, is the Islamization of the country. And the pace it's going at, I think, is shocking. And there's one of three things can happen. Either we get a government that solves the problem, which is obviously what I want to happen. There's a massive and horrendous civil conflict, which I don't want to see happen. Or the Islamists win, which I don't want to see happen as well. So to me, we've got to have the political solution. We've got to have the political dynamic. And that's why I'm doing the Advance thing, because I think this is the biggest threat to the UK. And, you know, again, people can disagree with me on that. But I've looked at this for a long time, and I'm pretty convinced that this is the battle that we're going to have to fight.
So just in regards to like the spiritual awakening that we were talking about yesterday, you know, there is also a honing in on young teenagers and mid-20s to start joining the Islamic faith. So we're now seeing this conversion rate from Christianity to Islamic faith. Like I've never seen it so much. Like, so it's normally, and I'm sorry if you're ginger, but it's normally white ginger men. And I'm just really
that's a gingerism, isn't it? You can't say stuff like that, man.
But they are normally, you know, sort of, you know, young guys who are going into it, and they are going full force. They're making videos, they're telling everybody, they're speaking the Islamic, you know, sort of terminology, and I'm just there going, what is going on?
Right, I just want to read this banner out here. If what she says affected you, just let you know. If this was impacted you, please get in touch with us, right? So that's for the ginger people. There we go. There we go. Thank you very much. So just in case you never know, Joe, so I just want to put that out there. There's a trigger warning for all the ginger people, bro. Thank you much for that. But she's right, Richard.
My grandson's a ginger, so and he's proud to be ginger.
Actually, a redhead. So actually, I've been called all sorts.
Yeah. But no, I mean it's absolutely right.
I mean, we are. Yeah, go on. There's a delay.
The delay. We're really sorry.
No, I know. No,
I was going to say there is clearly an evangelical crusade happening within the Islamic faith. Now, we've seen footage of preachers in New York City gathering crowds of thousands and preaching almost like a Billy Graham rally, almost like an evangelistic conference. And it seems as if they're now taking to the streets and unashamedly doing so. We've seen it in London, in Cardiff, in Manchester, in Liverpool, in Sunderland, our cities, where instead of praying in the mosques, they're now coming out on the streets. So there's clearly a demarcation line being crossed. And whilst we believe in the freedom of religion, of course we do, it's this, I call it a barbaric death cult. And I will not refrain from calling, I will not apologize for saying that, because I know the doctrine of Islam is evil, it's anti-God and anti-Christ, and therefore I'm against it. Everything it stands for, its cultural aspects, is not compatible with Western culture. And so if we don't do something about it and push back against it, then all going to happen is we're going to be infiltrated, and our cities and towns and villages are going to be unrecognizable, Richard.
Oh, I totally agree. And I mean, that's one of their weapons, if you like, or one of their tools in the Islamist toolbox is dawah. And at Speaker's Corner, I used to go to Speaker's Corner quite a lot. We called them the Dawah Gang. It was Ali Dawah, Mohammed Hijab, and a whole lot of their cronies. And they would turn up and they would bully people, and they would shout over people. But I think the reality of all this is, as Christians, we should look at Dawah, which is Islamic evangelism, and pretty much treat it with the contempt it deserves. And we should be saying to the church in England, or the Church of England's obviously a problem on its own. They probably welcome the Dawah guys in. But we should be looking at this and saying, where's the church in England? Where's the church in Scotland? Where's the church in Northern Ireland? Because they're getting the headroom to do what they're doing because they're reaching out to people. So we need people at street level who are able to reach out to people on the street and talk to people at their own level about the gospel and explain, and I don't say this in a patronizing way, but explain in very simple and easy to understand terminology what Christianity is and why Christianity is the true faith. And we should have confidence in doing that. We should have confidence that if we do that, then the Holy Spirit will do his work and people will get converted and people will get saved. And I think we're seeing it. And I think one of the amazing things that we're seeing in the United Kingdom movement, and it includes obviously what's happening with Tommy and Tommy's spiritual awakening. And again, we never know exactly where somebody is on the spiritual path. I mean, my spiritual life has been like a roller coaster. Like I've been, up and down. And I'm not saying that to boast. It's not good to be, it'd be much better to just having a sort of long, slow upward trajectory. But mine hasn't been like that. And a lot of people will get converted from very worldly backgrounds and will struggle and will battle with sin. And that'll be our life story, probably until we go to heaven. But the reality is that we need to introduce people to Jesus. We need to introduce Muslims to Jesus. And we need people need to know that Jesus came for sinners. This is called saints and sinners. Jesus didn't come to save the righteous. He came for absolute mangy dogs to turn them into good people. That's what Jesus is about, isn't it? So I think we need to be confident in our faith. And I think advance is the political route, but I think the faith side of things is a million times more important than anything political. And if I felt God saying to me, Richard, bring the politics off, just do Christian stuff, I would do it tomorrow. I would do it tomorrow, and I wouldn't have a problem with that. So we need all these different tools in the toolbox to be used. And United Kingdom's amazing. I mean, Tommy's called a carol service for the 13th of December. He's actually, he said, I want everyone to go to London, sing carols, talk about Jesus' birthday, and put Christ back into Christmas. That's Tommy Robinson saying that. When I first met Tommy, believe you me, that was not in his mind. I mean, I'm telling you now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me ask one question, because I think this is a really important question in regards to if there is a faith movement, if the Holy Spirit and Jesus starts to take place, is the church ready for the influx of people coming in?
No, unfortunately not. I started doing a little podcast on a Sunday night. I know you guys are doing a Sunday night one as well, so we'll have to try and make sure we don't clash. I normally, well, we'll talk about that later. But and I've got probably between 400 to 600 people. I was just getting the. I've probably got about 400 to 600 people, and I am completely like, almost like the blind leading the blind, right? I'm going, guys, I'm just a Christian. I'm not pretending to be a pastor. I'm not a prophet. I'm just sharing what I got from the Bible. Let's pray together. Let's have fellowship online. And I'm doing that every Sunday. And there's people in the comments almost every week saying, I've just come back to my faith because of this. I come to this because I can't find a church near me that's doing what you're doing. This is real. This is speaking to me. And I'm a mess. I'll be honest with you. I am a mess. So I'm not doing this out of a position of being Billy Graham. I am just, as broken as the next person. I'm a leper like everybody else. And people are responding. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Because if I'd have done that 10 years ago, you would have just got slaughtered and nobody would have watched the show. You'd have had about 10 viewers, but now we're having hundreds of people. And sometimes I go on to like 11:30 or midnight, and you've got 400 people saying, I need prayer. Richard, this is blessing us. This is, and we've built, and I love the people in the comments. And I don't mean that in a trite way. I genuinely do. And they love me, and they encourage me, and I encourage them. And that's with this technology. And as long as we've got access to this technology, we can do that. Now, I think it has to break out of the technological sphere, and we have to meet face to face and do stuff face to face somewhere along the line. But man, it's something that I've never seen before. And like I say, I'm not qualified to do it. I'm not holy enough to do it, but God's just using a leper.
And I love that. I absolutely love that, because God needs to use each and every one of us, because if we're ready and if we're willing and if we're open, that is that connection and that link with God to go forth. And it is so important that we literally utilize what we've got. I have nothing. I am broken. I have been devoured by evil at times. But do you know what? The most beautiful thing is that God can raise you the beauty from ashes to beauty. It's the most incredible journey when you journey with God. And when God calls you, you feel a pull that is so definitively Him. You cannot argue with it. And that is incredible.
Amen. Preach it, sister. I feel the preach coming on. My Lord have mercy. Jesus. Oh, lover of my soul. I feel the Holy Ghost in here tonight, baby. We have the Holy Ghost in the studio tonight, folks. Hallelujah. Let's get a revival going on. She's kicking me under the table now. Shut up, Rich. Shut up.
But Richard, this is a revival. This is a revival. This, and it's not, it's baby steps. But this is a revival. I mean, the next thing that will happen is we will, we'll get zapped and we'll be different people. Because I know that a lot of people in my audience that chat to me on well, I do it every morning as well. I do 5 days a week, and then I do 1 or 2 shows on a Sunday. And everybody in there is struggling. Everybody's hurting. Everybody's got issues going on in their lives. But I know that when the Holy Ghost does show up in power, that He can change everything. And if you've ever walked in that river, if you've ever swam in that river, you know that it's a different dimension. Now, we're not there yet. I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we're in a full-blown Holy Ghost revival where people's lives are getting totally turned upside down and they're getting completely changed from the inside out. I know I'm not there. There might be other people there, but I'm not. But I think that's possible, and I think that will be a massive change in the whole country. And that's another way that we can save our country from civil conflict and from civil war. Happened with Wesley. They reckon if Wesley and Whitfield hadn't been preaching in the late 1700s, that the UK would have slipped into a civil war like France did. And it didn't, because of their preaching. And there's, when Ricky's doing his stuff at the United Kingdom rallies, people are getting saved in the audience. Like it's like a cross between a Trump rally and a Billy Graham rally. Do you know what I mean? You know, and I was talking to someone on Sunday, and this guy, I hope you won't mind me saying, this guy back in the day was involved in a lot of serious stuff in Northern Ireland. I'm not going to say any more than that, but you can get what I'm saying, right? He was very heavily involved in stuff. And he's sitting in church, he's getting baptized, and he said, I'm here because of what happened to Charlie Kirk. That's what he said. This guy was, so God is doing things. God's definitely doing things. And God help us all, indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you? I don't know if you pause.
We've got a big, massive delay, Richard. I mean, obviously, if anything needs a revival right now, right, it's our politicians and our economy, because we're coming to the next story, because we're just aware of the time. But this is important, what we're discussing here, because it relates not just to politics, because I think someone said to me once, politics is the best there is without God. In other words, politics tries to be God. Politicians try to be like a savior, so we'll do this for you, we'll do that for you. And we're seeing that now in the country with Rachel Reeves, really targeting the wealthy in society and going for the middle classes, those who are working families. I mean, she gave the budget today, which I know you wanted to speak on, because obviously that came out today in Parliament. And I just got a couple of things I want to share with our viewers here. There she is, look. Rachel Thieves from accounts. There she is, pickpocketing, operates in this area. And I wasn't meant to put that one up. It should have been this one, I think. That's the one I should have put up.
What's in that red
What is
case?
in that red box? What is, I wonder. So, Richard, we had the big announcement today on the... absolutely, all of our money. I mean, tell me, did you watch it? Were you enthralled by it? What caught your eye? What didn't? What really, is going to make a difference, a material impact in people's lives?
I was actually having quite a good day. And then I turned the radio on in the kitchen. I was making something to eat. I turned the radio on in the kitchen, and this very, very dark and evil presence came into the kitchen. So then I went into the living room, and there was a dark and evil presence in the living room, and it was Rachel from accounts. She was there. She was trying to be omnipresent. She was everywhere. And I didn't really. I think I tuned out when she started talking about, doubling people's tax if they've got. I mean, okay, I don't know anyone. I don't think that's got a house that's worth over £2 million. But the problem is, a lot of people in London that bought the houses years ago, they're not multi-millionaires. They're just people that live in houses that are worth a couple of £1 million. And this is going to cause real problems, because a lot of people that are in those houses are going to sell them. So there's going to be a big glut of those over £2 million houses. And what's going to happen is the housing in the middle, the housing, I don't know, about $500,000 up to $1 million, there's going to be a massive demand on that. So the price of those houses are going to go up. Those markets are going to get squeezed. And I think it's going to cause real problems for the housing market, let alone for the pensioners that are going to be in the position where they're going to have to sell their houses to be able to survive, which I think is absolutely disgusting. So I kind of tuned out after that, guy. So I was looking at it going, am I really interested in this budget?
Yeah.
I was more focused on what we've been talking about earlier, because I think, Rachel from accounts and her cronies in the Labour Party, they're always going to be dipping our pockets. They're always going to be, taking our money and putting it in the red box. It's really funny, because she was saying, I've done this and I've done that and I've done the other. I was thinking, no, you've taken our money and wasted it on vanity projects for the Labour Party. That's what you've done. So that's about as far as I got on the budget. I must admit, guys, I didn't look at the minutiae of it. I didn't even look at any of the coverage of it. I just went, I just can't be listening to this. We just know we're going to be poor. It doesn't matter. We're going to be poor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you can see, there's a comment here that Richard has driven me back to Christ only due to his morning sermons. A fabulous community, open, honest, sharing experiences, looking for the answer together. How beautiful is that?
Yeah. I mean, Richard,
that's really emotional.
Could you just share with our audience what you do on a Sunday morning?
I'll go to church.
It's beautiful.
I go to church on a Sunday morning, and then what I do.
Yeah, do you online church, innit?
No. I'll explain what. Okay, so basically, I go to a normal church on Sunday morning, and then I come home and I upload my pastor's sermon to my channel about 2 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon. I didn't do it this Sunday. Apologies. It was one of those crazy manic days where I didn't get it done. Then on Sunday evening, I go from about, depending on how much I get done, I'll pick a topic we've been talking about revival for the last little while, so we're going to do a little series on revival. So I'll pick a topic and we'll just talk about it. I'll do a bit of a monologue, then we'll be going through the comments. I'll be interacting with people in the comments, and that goes on for probably till about 10:30, 11 on a Sunday night. And we would have probably 300, 400, 500, sometimes 600 people watching. And it's incredible. There is, like Gary. I mean, Gary there. And thanks for letting me know about that, Gary, because every single person that says that encourages me to go on, because it'd be so easy. Because I tell you what, I mean, you know this, Richie. You've been involved in this sort of stuff before. When you roll your sleeves up, you become a massive target for the enemy. And man, it's all hell is let loose on you. So yes, it's church in the morning, rebroadcast the church service from a pastor on Sunday afternoon, and then have a little teaching session Sunday night, prayer. What we're going to do, it's funny, you said it yesterday, Rogue, and it's really, to me, it just confirms what we've been talking about. Our little community are going to start having an online prayer, a midweek prayer meeting, where I'll open it up and I'll just be going through the comments.
Come on.
Yeah. And what we're going to do, we'll be picking out the comments and we'll be praying for people and praying for each other.
Fantastic.
So we might do that. We might do that tomorrow. I'll see how busy I am tomorrow. But if I'm not too busy, I'll try and do the first one tomorrow night. And we'll have a little prayer meeting, and people can they get ministered to. They get ministered to. That there's people have been saying they've had amazing answers to prayer. Even
Should we go? Should we go?
Yeah, we'll join.
Let's do it.
We'll have a look at that.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll maybe bring you two guys on. So if we do it tomorrow, we'll make sure there's no lag tomorrow. Because the lag could be at my end. If it is at my end, I'll make sure I'll work it. I don't think it is, but we'll make sure that we have a good connection, and we can have a prayer meeting tomorrow night.
Yeah, we'll do it.
We're
on tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I'd love that.
I mean, So you had a message through today, didn't you?
Yeah. Just to say that, going back to the Rachel Reeves things, one guy who's in our Wales groups, he basically said, I saw my tax today from my wage. To know it's going to go even higher over the next few years to pay for a failing system is super frustrating. I'm only 30, so to keep paying into a system that doesn't seem to care at all is really making me reconsider staying in England or Wales. Nearly 1/3 is tax, national insurance, then pensions, and then other bits, only to be taxed out the arse if I want to do anything in this country. Milkshake, tax. Fancy a citrus drink, taxed. Fed up, so decide to have a smoke, taxed. Want to drive anywhere? Well, tax the money for the car, tax the purchase of the car, tax the fuel before you buy it, and when you buy it and tax it, when you drive it, it's just a continued cycle of taxing. Want to stay home as it's cold, GI paying gas or electric this year? Honestly, I've worked 14 of my 30 years and now I just don't know why.
It's tragic.
I mean, it says it all, sums it up, doesn't it?
It really does. And that's the sort of young guy. He's hardworking, driven, and he's been driven out of the country. And, the amount of millionaires that we've lost, I mean, it's dreadful. And they're not just leaving because of the taxation. They're leaving because of the demographic change to the country. They're leaving because of all the stuff that they're seeing on social media, the stuff they're not seeing on the news. That's why what we need is what we've been talking about tonight. That's what we need.
Yeah.
That is that. And again,
do you know what I find hilarious? This second delay is mad. It's driving me bonkers. My autism. I say what's funny is a lot of these people leaving the country, the wealthiest in our country, and we need them in this country because they employ people. And this is the irony of it all, isn't it? Rachel from accounts doesn't have a clue what she's doing. I call her Lego head, to be honest. I'm sure that's a wig or something. But she's unqualified, like most of the Labour cabinet, firstly. And secondly, what I would say is what she's doing is she is ruining the economy. We're on the edge of catastrophe, really, economically in this country. And, the OBR leaked this information before she gave her speech in Parliament on the statement. And there's a lot of questions around, people being hit the most and those who are being, I suppose, supported the most. And they talk about people on benefits. But if you looked at the increases, they talk about 50 pence an hour on the minimum wage. I mean, that is nothing. Nothing in comparison to the cost of living. Inflation has come down, maybe temporarily, but that's set by the Bank of England. And we know how cronyism they work. And if you look at it, actually, the cost of living, your food, your gas, your electric, all the things that we pay, our council tax, they've all gone up. Everything's gone up. So nobody is better off. There's always more month than money. And people are struggling, really genuinely struggling, Richard.
I totally agree with that, Richie. And I mean, the thing that worries me, even housing costs. And housing costs, okay, when I left school and joined the army and suddenly thought, okay, I'm married, I better buy a house. My house cost £29,500, my first house. It's the only house I've lived in. I bought another house, but it's the only house I live in. It's £29,500. I was 21, and that's not a burden. That's not a big noose around your neck. The mortgages that people are having to saddle themselves with, and to even get on the housing ladder, young couples will need two really good incomes. So they're probably going to have to work 2 or 3 jobs or have 2 really good jobs. Now, the reality is not everybody has that. So then the other option is they go and rent. Now, because of the crazy migration crisis and because of what's going to happen with the HMOs, rental properties are going to go through the roof. People are going to be paying thousands of pounds a month for renting houses. Again, rental properties in Northern Ireland used to be around £500 a month for a decent 3-bedroom house. If you can get a decent 3-bedroom house for under £1,000 a month now, you're doing really well. And that's cheap because that's Northern Ireland, and Northern Ireland's traditionally cheap. So I think there's a lot of real problems there. And, again, these are things that Advance are going to have to really, I know there's people working on policy in Advance, but they're going to have to work really, really hard on a housing policy. Obviously, getting rid of a whole lot of illegal migrants will take a bit of pressure off, but there's more going on than that. So I think there's a lot of big questions that need to be answered.
So somebody has just commented actually on what we were talking about previously, which is it possible to be a member of Advance UK and be a complete atheist? I zone out with all of this religiously focused discussion.
Yeah, of course. I mean, well, I'm just a member of Advance, so I can't speak at an executive level for Advance, but you don't need to be a Christian to be a member of Advance. I think the thing about Advance is what Advance does is, as a lot of people do, it acknowledges our Christian heritage. And I think purely from a point of view of intellectual rigor, you've got to admit that the whole of Western civilization is based on what's called the Judeo-Christian heritage, which comes from the Old and New Testament of the Bible. That's what the whole of Western civilization is based on. It's not like David Starkey says. I mean, David Starkey's not aligning himself with Advance. He's doing stuff with Ben, which is great. But David Starkey would be very much like our last commenter there. He is not religious at all. He is not into that, but he's got a great mind, and he's actually doing stuff with Ben. So I mean, he's a prominent atheist that's involved with Advance. So of course you can be an atheist and be in Advance.
Yeah, I think I qualify that by saying, look, anybody of any religion or no religion at all can join Advance UK. Of course you can. It's just there's a bunch of crazy Christians in there as well. So it takes all sorts, doesn't it? So yeah, absolutely. And of course, some of the subjects we touch here on Saints and Sinners is because we do the spiritual rogue and the political. So get your dose of spiritual spoon-fed stuff here on a Wednesday night and a Sunday night, and mixed with politics, current affairs. Sometimes we even talk about conspiracy theories. Yes, we do, folks. So we do a whole range of things, Rogue, don't we? Talking about the program tonight, or the show tonight, because we had a load to get through. I doubt we're going to get through all of it. We'll do our best. So we're talking about the economy. Rachel Reeves. Obviously, people in this country have lost all confidence in politicians. They turn off the television, Richard. They're not interested because all they hear is people saying things and then telling lies. So, faith in politicians is at an all-time low, Rogue, isn't it? And I think we've experienced that because you've been out on the streets this last couple of weeks talking to people. What's the reaction been like?
They just cannot stand the hypocrisy, the lies, and what they voted for is not what they have gotten. And in that, you lose faith and you lose hope and you are disillusioned. And when you have nothing but negativity, you are going to breed negativity. And so what is happening is they are not delivering. And so people are starting to feel that kind of well, it's just dismay, isn't it? And dismay is just like bottom of the floor. Where the hell do we go?
Yeah, what's the point? Like,
Absolutely. But you know what? Again, I am going to reiterate, because we do talk about the spiritual and the political, there is hope. And there is so much hope when you put your foundation in God. He will lead the way, and it just eradicates anything that is negative, because joy springs forth.
Talking of joy, right? Talking about joy, right? I reckon you should vote for us to be the next Prime Minister and Deputy. Here we are, look, running for number 10.
We imagine all the people living life in peace.
Love it.
Oh my
So
God.
that's our campaign video for number 10. So please vote for us.
You guys get into some trouble with costumes. That's all I'm saying.
We imagine all the people living life in peace.
That delay had me worried for a minute there. I wasn't sure whether you were going to laugh at that. Sometimes I crack jokes on Paul's channel and it's just a deathly silence. Do you know what I mean?
We were laughing our heads off. We really were.
Just the delay is so
We've got a mad delay.
Have I crossed the line?
On the broadcast, it's fine, but on StreamYard, well, I don't know what this.
Do you know what? We, I think, are going to call it a wrap. We've done an hour of literally having this. Well,
let's go to some of the comments. Let's go to some of the comments before we go. Listen, folks, we really wanted to speak a lot more tonight, and Richard said, but we've got this massive delay. That delay is awful. Yeah, we know. So we're just going to call it a day tonight. I think Rogue has just said we've done an hour.
Yeah. So listen, we'll come back on again with you, Richard, and what I'll do is we'll come on tomorrow night onto yours, and we will just basically have an experience of what you are doing, because we want to be part of what you're doing, because we think it's phenomenal. And then I think we'll have to do this again when our internet's a little bit better for some reason. But thank you so much for coming on and sharing your thoughts about everything. And yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, Richard.
Yeah, likewise. It's been great. And so tomorrow night, it'll be the first time I've done the prayer meeting tomorrow night. So we'll see how that goes as well. But okay, guys, I'll send you across the link and let's do it tomorrow night again.
Cheers, mate.
Take it easy, guys. See you soon.
Fantastic.
Perfect. Thank you. Bye.
Right then, Rogue, there we have it. Well, I don't know about you, but that was an absolute disaster. What happened? It's never been that bad. Hopefully things are a bit better now.
Is it better now?
Just let us know in the comments.
Can we see us?
Wasn't that good though? Richard, he's a knowledgeable guy.
I love Richard. I think he's a really, really good guy. And actually having him talk and actually share some of his knowledge is always just a privilege to kind of hear what's going on.
Absolutely. No, we talk about a lot here. I want to go back on some of this, right? Fabian Society, Muslim Brotherhood, obviously Trump's comments about them being a terrorist organization, Rachel Reeves and the accounts and the economy.
Oh my gosh.
The country is in a bloody mess in here, let's be honest.
It is. And the next thing that we wanted to talk about was gender dysphoria.
You're covering your mic there, love.
Gender dysphoria, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to go there now, are we?
No, we're not going to go there now, because I don't know if people can see us, to be honest.
Well, yeah, they can, because I'm watching the live stream there. Just leave some comments so we know you're watching in the live and the sound is okay. Because we had some technical issues.
I need to know.
We did indeed. And while we're doing that, and get your fingers off the keyboard, love. Thank you. I'll do that. There we go. So if you have not subscribed to us, why not do that right now? And in the top left or right hand corner, there's a QR code. Please scan that and leave a donation to support the channel. We'd appreciate it. We're going to go to some of the comments now. Really great chat. Thank you very much.
Moya, my darling, you were supposed to be coming on.
Yeah.
And it's
we can still do that. I think we should do that. It depends on what you want to do, because you're the boss, really. She's the boss, really. I just press the button here with the mouse. Look, just let you know, that's what I do, right? Just
Moya, what I want to do is I want to be able to put the interview out with you when it's actually, I know it's streamlined, because at the moment, is it all good now? Is it all?
My first time, you're a great show. Thank you ever so much. Oh, big shout out to Paul Thorpe.
Well, Paul Thorpe had us on yesterday and we met Richard on there, and now we've had him on tonight and we're going on his tomorrow night. So this is how it works.
We've had a huge increase in subscribers. So if you're one of the new subscribers, welcome to the land of saints and sinners, where everything is unpredictable, where everything will go wrong, where you can guarantee.
Ian has just said that the all tech is good now, so that's really
We'll
good.
stay on then, shall we? You can guarantee a bit of banter, a bit of laugh. We'll argue on air as well, like we do off air. So
look, let me just quickly say, we've known each other for 31 years. We have been best friends for 31 years, and he drives me flipping mad. But the thing is, I knew his wife, he knew my husband, ex-wife, my ex-husband, everybody knew everybody, and it was just like our kids knew each other, and now we're just here.
Like a married couple. Arguing, disagreeing, hating each other, want to kill each other. But anyway, that aside, moving on, I'll subscribe more. Oh, thank you so much. Please subscribe. We really appreciate it. And
I'll
share the
subscribe
broadcast
for
as
some
well.
more nuclear disasters.
I can't possibly follow that. Okay, someone said. More comments here. Richard's morning show is awesome.
Yeah,
Good.
we're going to go on it.
That.
We will definitely go tomorrow evening, actually, because it's the first one.
Rogue. Now, you were in two minds whether to talk about this one.
I'm not going to do about that. I don't think. No. I think me and Moya
should we keep it for a special?
Yeah, I think we'll do another one on Friday.
Okay. Now, folks, we've got a very special show lined up for you Friday. I've just been told. It is going to be special. I've already seen some snippets of the show because we got some interviews that we've done pre-recorded, but very important, very powerful, and you don't want to miss this. It's going to be on Friday night. Rogue is going to be interviewing someone very special who's got an incredible background and history as well. And
she weirdly brought out in me part of my story. So I'm going to be sharing a part of my story. I've got a book that I'm writing, in the process of writing. And because I want to get my chapters out there, and I actually want for people to hear that I'm not sitting here on my golden throne. What?
I'm glad you said you're getting your chapters out. Not your church bells, as you said before. You see, I'm going to get my chapters out. I mean, you can't.
Is that what I said? My chapters out.
Yeah, your chapters out. Yeah,
my chapters out. Well, anyways, I am going to ensure that my story gets out there. And Moya just spoke with me, and for some reason, it just came out. So anyway, thank you very much.
First time here, and really enjoying it.
Good.
Yeah, so we're going to run that story on Friday. And of course, we just let you know, we broadcast every Wednesday night and every Sunday night at 8 o'clock. Sunday, what do we do on Sunday nights, Rogue?
We do a recap. So it's Sunday recap with Richie and Rogue. And what we do is go through every story that has happened through the week. We bring it to your attention and we give you a recap, and then we do a poll.
Do you say recap?
Recap.
You said recap.
Right, we have this thing, right? No, hang on a minute. We have this thing, right? And it's actually quite funny. And it's, can we fit a word into a show without getting caught?
Mm-hmm.
So we will actually, I think in future, we'll tell them the word.
We should do a poll, shouldn't we? What word should we slip into the broadcast?
What word should we slip into the...
See, you just got the word crap in. You said, can we do recap?
A recap. So I actually got the word in. So I won.
Right, someone WhatsApped me today, probably watching tonight, and said, do you and Rogue ever argue?
No, they did not.
They did.
Shut up.
I tell a lie, I'm the saint. But if they did, what would the answer be?
What a lie.
Have you actually hated me at any point?
Yes,
just
today I have hated you. That's because you don't do as you're told.
Right, okay.
I'm joking.
Okay.
It's because you're defiant at times, because you're the sinner.
I am indeed. Truth is knowledge, as they say, anyway. So
knowledge is truth. Guys, look, thank you for joining us. I'm sorry that the quality was really shocking with...
Yeah, I know, because people drop off. But we're on X. So if you're watching, I know some of you are watching on X as well. Please give Rogue a follow at Land Sinners. Appreciate it.
At Land Sinners.
At Land Sinners, that's the one. Thank you, Gary. Thank you to all our new people watching tonight. Spoke to you earlier, Gary. Thank you for that. We enjoyed that conversation. Can't wait to see you on Saturday. Something special happening. Can't say too much about that. But anyway, we want to say thank you.
Yes, you can say oh for hook. Okay, so that is, you've got to try and slip that in.
Right. Well, no, tonight.
Do you know what? That terminology is so wrong.
I know it is.
I need to be very careful what I say.
We need to be careful what we say. My kids are watching this. That's all right. They're all older now anyway. But yeah, you are right. Yeah, this
we'll try and put that in.
Yeah, we will try and slip it in the next show.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. How's that?
Guys, thank you
so much for joining us, guys. And please subscribe. Follow us on X and support us if you can by scanning that QR code up in the corner there and leave a small donation and a message, and we'll be able to message you back. You can communicate with us actually through Buy Me a Coffee online here. Even if you don't leave a gift, if you want to leave a message, go to the Buy Me a Coffee page, which is the QR code. You're watching on your phone. I know you're like, Richard, I can't do it on my phone. Do it later.
Thank you,
etc.
Ian. Do you know what? It's so lovely to have you on. And, do you know, we love Paul. We think he's absolutely amazing. And we love what Paul is doing. And it was great to be on the show yesterday. And it's great to do this and have our own show. But we just, like I said, want to bring so much more than just political. We want it to be a chat, coffee and a chat, chill and a chat, but also talking about the spiritual and everyday occurrences that we all may be going through, traumas we may be facing, just life struggles that we may be going through, and how can we bring together a community that help each other. That's part of our role. And actually, let's just put, absolutely.
I'm struggling to find a Maltese here. That's what I'm struggling with in a minute.
Advance, unite the kingdom of God. Absolutely. Right, guys, I'm done.
Are you finished?
Yeah, I'm so done.
Then I'll take over the show then. Come on. No, thank you ever so much, everyone, from the wonderful Rogue and myself, Richie. We'll catch you here on Friday night. There'll be a special. Check out our community page here on YouTube as well. We've got a poll running at the moment. Please check that poll out. Over 300 votes have come in so far.
Wait, before we go, I'm just going to put this up because I'm actually quite happy with this comment.
Oh, is it about you, is it?
Actually, it's about the show. Thank you.
Well,
yeah.
Get off my buttons.
Shut up. What did he say that I had to say again? A bastard.
This chocolate is nice.
Starmer is a real bastard, but this show is becoming one of my favourites. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I love that. Do you want a Malteser for that?
Brilliant show. Richie and Rogue, thank you very much.
Yay. You've eaten them
Are
all.
people actually watching us eat Maltesers? There's only 4 in a pack.
Guys, we're going. Literally, we are going. But just want to say, may God bless you. And may you have a good sleep tonight. And may the angels protect you. And we'll see you in tomorrow.
From me, the saint, and
me,
Rogue,
the saint, too.